I'm one of the co-founding women of Peaslee Neighborhood Center, where Intercommunity Justice and Peace Center has been our longest partner that has lived in our building. Because of a relationship I had with Sister Louise, inviting her to come to Peaslee, I can't think of a time IJPC was not supportive. And one of the issues that has impacted our neighborhood of Over-the-Rhine over all the years that I've been there, which is almost 50, is affordable housing. And any time that our neighborhood was organizing around safe and decent housing, IJPC was always there, willing to write letters to support our organizing efforts. Oftentimes would come down to City Hall to speak out in support of policies that we were pushing at City Hall, or the need for affordable housing in the neighborhood. And then even nationally, because we were part of both the State Coalition for the Homeless and the National Coalition for the Homeless. And there were always organizing efforts across the country when it came time to organize nationally to get federal dollars that would bring monies into cities like Cincinnati, not only for persons homeless, but to provide affordable housing. And sometimes, we would rent buses, and Intercommunity Justice and Peace Center would sometimes help us with religious communities donating money to help us get the buses so that we could bring people to Atlanta, Georgia for a Housing Now March, or for the March on Washington in October of 1989, where people from all over 50 states came to the Capitol to protest the need for affordable housing because we had lost, billions of dollars to housing. And so IJPC was always there, would always collaborate with us. And so we needed that kind of support. Sometimes people are afraid to speak out against injustices, but there never was a time that our community asked IJPC to do something that they didn't do it. I mean, it was, how important it is in this work. You constantly have to be convincing people till you have no breath left to convince them of something. But when you go to your door, through your door, you just know you're going to be there because you understand it, you have that analysis. And I think also that IJPC, because you could see it around the neighborhood, living in Over-the-Rhine, we both Peaslee and Intercommunity Justice Peace Center has witnessed our population decline in the community because of displacement. And there's been a lot of money going into the development of condos and townhomes, and then a lot of our people are being displaced. Like IJPC would hold children's programmings at one point in IJP's history to have peace camps, and the families that lived just around Peaslee Neighborhood Center, they were close by, that they would come to do that. And now that's not happening. And I think part of that is because the families no longer are living there. And then recently, with some of the money, public dollars going in to fix up parks in the neighborhood, Washington Park and Ziegler Park that sits right behind where IJPC lives at Peaslee, we are seeing that we're losing a lot of affordable housing around Peaslee because landlords are opting out of their subsidy from the government. And so that when they used to provide affordable housing, they're now flipping to change their housing into market rate housing. So that's really, I feel, an injustice. And so even that school that's right across the street from us, School for Creative and Performing Arts, that should not be a building of 145 market rate units. It should at least have a percentage of affordable housing. And then even there was a time where I went to a public meeting and they were designing that park. And then all of a sudden you're sitting at a meeting and they're showing you the map and they have this new pool in Peaslee's parking lot. And they never even talked to one of us about those plans. And then even after they went to that meeting, they actually came and wanted to see if we would be willing to sell our parking lot. And I think they were shocked when we said no. like money isn't the answer to everything, and we were not going to give up our principles just for the almighty dollar, because we need that parking lot for our people, the tenants that live in our building and the participants that come and participate. And we know that it's valuable because we live on a corner. So I think they were shocked that we weren't willing to deal, with taking their money, and so we've been constantly working towards affordable housing. And it's really sad that we live in a city that says they want racially and economically mixed neighborhoods, and IJPC has always been supportive of that. But then they have no policies that require developers to do a certain number of affordable units in the neighborhood. And then so we both are witnesses to a lot of suffering in the community because people are struggling to find decent housing, and it's really an injustice. So I'm just grateful that IJPC is willing to stand up and stand with those that are marginalized, who have no housing or lack of affordable housing. So IJPC has always been there for us in our housing movement in Over the Rhine.